Any professional assassin has two things that can't be touched. The first thing is his family, and the other is his pet. These gangsters unfortunately touched both things. Their enemy is such a skillful assassin. His name is Hutch. He is an ordinary good man at home. That night, two thieves broke into his house. He pretended to be a weak man. He let the thieves take all his money away, and they took his watch too. When a guy was taking the watch, Hutch saw a tattoo on his hand. His son suddenly came up and rushed into one of the thieves. Hutch picked the bat up, but he realized that there was no bullet in the gun on the thief's hand. He told his son to stop and let them escape. The boy was so confusing, though Hutch was a coward. The police also told him that, if this were my family, I would never let them go. On the next day, Hutch is still joked at work that he is such a rabbit. Hutch has been so patient, he is not angry at all. After going home, his daughter tells him that her kitty bracelet is missing. He remembers that the bracelet was taken with the money last night. Finding the cause, Hutch leaves without saying a word. He comes to his father's place, takes the gun. He turns back and tells the old man that he has to do something, and the father implicitly knows everything. Hutch quickly goes to the tattoo parlor. The parlor owner is also a bad person. He has many people surrounding Hutch. Hutch takes out a lot of money to settle a friendly talk. An old man nearby sees Hutch's tattoo. Then a bell rings outside the door. The old man rapidly gets out. The owner then understands. "What can I help you?" he asks Hutch. "Help me find this person." The thieves are a young husband and wife. They are about to eat. But suddenly, Hutch punches in the man's face. The woman quickly hands over the watch, but all Hutch wants to know is the kitty bracelet. However, the man tells him that he has never seen it before. When Hutch pushes him to the floor and he is about to shoot the man, accidentally he hears a sound of a crying baby. He walks into the bedroom, and then finds a newborn baby wearing an oxygen mask. Figures out that this young couple had no other choices. He finally leaves them alone. Rushing out, he frantically punches to the wall to release his anger. Both hands of Hutch are bleeding. When he is on the bus coming home, there is a black car coming. The car is speeding up to catch the bus and eventually hits the pillars. 5 drunk thugs step out of the car. Hutch has something in his mind. The bad guys get on the bus and start teasing the passengers, but they will never know that they will get themselves in trouble. Hutch smilingly steps forward. He tells the driver to get out of the car and close the door. Hitch now is so happy that he finally found something interesting to play with. He pulls the gun out and get rid of the bullets. Then, he smiles and shouts, "I will you all." The thugs laugh out loud. This man with braids begins. He gives Hutch a punch, making him fall off. But Hutch gives him a punch back. Another man comes to beat Hutch. His head hits the iron bar, which makes him really angry. After a long fighting time, Hutch was thrown out of the bus, but the men inside are also very miserable. One has a broken nose, other loses his front teeth. Do you think it is over? No. Hutch stands up and steps on the bus again. He decides to beat them up today. The anger of Hutch makes him knock all the drunk thugs down. When a thug, Jack, picks up Hutch's gun to shoot him, he swiftly turns back and smashes the gun by an iron stick. Then he gives Jack 2 hits. The driver outside does not know what is happening inside his bus. After the epic battle, Hutch gets away with his watch. In a club, this gangster is helping his boss settle a deal. There is a big guy staring at the boss. He gives the guy 2 punches without saying a word, knocking him out directly. All the other gangsters become so horrified, they are all silent, and the business is continued. Suddenly, a phone call makes the man in black freeze. When he arrives the hospital, his younger brother is disabled. Holding a chair, he steps to the friend of his brother and beats him up. "Who did this?" he asks. "That is an old man," the man tells. "Are you kidding me?" he responds. Then, the boss keeps beating the poor guy. The man lying next to the poor guy then hands over a card that Hutch dropped. In his home, Hutch pretends that nothing happened. He got a phone call from a friend. The friend told Hutch that there is a force covering for these thugs. Through his investigation, Hutch realizes that this man in black is a drug lord that is very rich and powerful with many relationships. Meanwhile, this lord is searching for Hutch too. He finds the identity of Hutch's father. He also acknowledges that Hutch used to be one of the best assassins via a confidential database. That night, he sends a crew to Hutch's house. Feeling the danger, Hutch immediately hides his wife and children under the basement. Then he turns off the light to prepare for the battle. Although Hutch fights so hard, he cannot defeat all the men. He eventually is electrocuted and faints down. The 2 gangsters throw him into the trunk and bring him to their boss. When he wakes up, he gets one hand out of the handcuffs. He gets out from the back seat and uses the extinguisher to defeat both of the gangsters. After crawling out, he finds the handcuffs key to release the other hand. All the people are seriously injured. He calls his father to tell him about his dangerous situation. Afterwards, he goes straight to his house. He gets his family out of the basement and tells him to leave here promptly. Then, he takes all the gold bars. He burns down his house after drinking a glass of wine. He knows he will fight for the final battle. The drug lord's men come to the place where Hutch's father lies. They intend to kill the old man while he is sleeping, but a second later, in this scene, Hutch comes to a factory and buys it with all his gold. He uses this place to set up a huge trap for the bad guys. He creates steel-fired gun, sets up many electric traps. He also places many mines around the facility. When everything is ready, Hutch brings a gas tank and drives to the nightclub. The drug lord is singing on the stage. Hutch follows the voice. He then starts shooting with a machine pistol. The doormen, the watchers and security are all dead. Then Hutch pours gasoline to the water pipe. He then activates the extinguishing system to make millions of cash wet. He calmly ignites the money. It is followed by a huge flame. When the drug lord finishes his song, Hutch is enjoying his steak right in front of him. Restraining the anger, the boss walks off the stage and comes to him. More than 40 guns are pointing at Hutch. "How dare you to come here?" boss asks. Hutch slowly puts the bomb on the table, asking him for a personal talk. Therefore, the boss orders all his men to leave, and then he slowly sits down. Hutch tells, "Your money is burned up. Will you consider going to a nursing home after retirement?" In that moment, the old gangster becomes extremely angry, but he cannot do anything because Hutch is still holding the bomb. Hutch knows that he wins, so he stands up to leave. But right after getting in his car, the gangsters come up. Hutch begins to drive the car away. The bad guys are chasing him down. They keep on shooting the car. Hutch eventually is cornered in a small alley. One of the gangster car crashes into Hutch's car. While the guns have not stopped firing, he knows it's the right time to give a shot. Then Hutch turns around, continues to drive regardless of the bullets. At the end, he lures the boss to the factory. As soon as getting out of the car, Hutch is shot in the shoulder. In the meantime, there is a friend supporting him from the second floor, and downstairs, his father is holding a 2-barreled gun to cover for him. Entering the factory, Hutch uses the compressor to activate the grenades, killing many enemies. His teammate is also astonishing with the AWM. He skillfully dodges and kills 3 men with just a shot. Hutch also uses the electric trap to kill another man. Then he uses the steel-fired guns to kill other 2 men. The 3 people are fighting side by side. They take down all the enemies in the building. After a short time, only the boss remains. Hutch also has no bullets left. The boss thinks that he can reverse the situation, but he cannot imagine that Hutch rushes out with a bomb stick to the bulletproof glass. The battle is over. Hutch's team is totally safe and sound. In the final scene, Hutch takes his wife to buy a new house, while his father is going to the next destination with a vehicle full of weapons. That's the end of this movie. Do not forget to press like and share. Thank you and see you in the next movie.